One subject that I would like to discuss again is bus stops. Bus stops are established by dispatch, the office, or any other authority that responds to the school board. So, as a school bus driver, I do not have, it's not my prerogative to decide to drop a student somewhere else or to add a bus stop or move a bus stop to some other spot. It is not my prerogative. It is not a parent's prerogative. It is not a student's prerogative. It is important to know because at one point you will have students or parents who will, for whatever reason, try to force you, to influence you into dropping the student elsewhere or picking them up elsewhere. And you cannot do that. And there's a liability issue with this. And, you know, what happens if something happens to that student? That student gets abducted by a child molester or gets run over by a drunk driver, and it turns out you dropped the kid at the wrong place. What do you tell the parents? Oops, my bad. That's why you have to be very strict. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be professional and be courteous about it, but we need to be very firm about bus stops. If you feel that as a school bus driver, if you feel that a bus stop needs to be moved for safety reasons, always share your concerns with the office and have it approved by the office or the school board before you proceed differently. Every school board every district has a different policy as far as how many minutes you need to be there at your bus stop waiting for the bus in the morning, etc. But basically the idea is that when you show up, the students should be there already waiting in the morning. Because if they are not there waiting in the waiting when you show up, that means what? That means that there is more room for error if they have to cross the street, especially. So you have to really get it across to your students and to your parents that it is important. It's a safety matter that they be there on time, waiting for the bus. And sometimes you have to be an ambassador of safety, so to speak, because sometimes people, they mean well, but they don't know better. They just assume that this guy knows what he's doing, and they don't realize that, well, maybe there is a better way. Maybe you shouldn't have, wait for the bus to show up and then you release your child. Same in the afternoon. What if I drop off a student, and the parent is waiting on the other side of the street? Then the natural reaction for a student, a very young kid, first or second grade or younger, is to immediately run to mom or dad. So I had to address that. I had to talk to parents about it. Ma'am, sir, I would appreciate, as you wait for your kid, please wait on the same side of the street near the bus stop, because otherwise the safety of your kid is at risk. And sometimes you have to do that. No matter how many rules the school board comes up with or you come up with as a school bus driver, there is always a part of loading and unloading at the bus stop that is unpredictable. I had a child once. She was waiting for the bus she was wearing rollerblades. Well, I don't put in my rules, do not wear rollerblades at the bus stop. I mean, you cannot predict every scenario like this. This is why you have to be alert. This is why you have to be alert and anticipate and be in charge. Be the big guy, or the big person who is in control. And that way you can manage situations like this and make it safe. What if a kid drops something underneath the bus accidentally? You have to be there. You are the person who looks after these kids' best interests. The other driver, what's on that person's mind might be, I don't want to be late for work. I don't want to get fired. So someone has to think about these kids' safety, and that is your job as a school bus driver. When you stop, most drivers are compliant. Some people are not. They see that stop sign and they decide to keep going. Sometimes it's an honest mistake. Sometimes it's a deliberate challenge. You have to be firm. That doesn't mean you should start, be a professional. Don't start using profanity. Don't start screaming. Don't, threaten the person. But yeah, you've got to, if you feel like you need to blow your horn to get someone's attention, to stun a driver so he stops and doesn't run over these kids, you've got to do what you've got to do. And point at your sign. You've got to stop. That's the bottom line. It's more important at this point to look after the kids' safety. One last point is chasing the bus. The policy of the Georgia Department of Education here is that if your child misses the bus, you are not supposed to chase the bus. You are supposed to take your child or your children to school. That said, you will, as a school bus driver, it's unavoidable. You will end up at one point with some parents, for whatever reason, who will chase the bus. Now, what I personally do, I do not condone parents chasing the bus, but sometimes you've got to choose your battles. Am I going to get into conflict with parents over this issue? No. What I do, I propose an alternative at least. I say, sorry ma'am, I would prefer if you don't, but if you will do it anyway, would you please drop your kid at such and such location where I know that the bus has time to make it there, to where it's convenient for them, and to where it's not on the highway, or it's not in the situation, in a setting to where the kid's safety is at stake, at risk. It is a setting to where the parent has the opportunity to drop the kid to where the child is already there, standing, waiting for the bus whenever I make it to that bus stop. So this is the way I handle it. That's it.